Hey, what's going on, everybody? Sin Sports in the house with another what if scenario. Today, our hot topic of the week is what if Derrick Rose never tore his ACL? After tons and tons of hours of research, CPU game playing simulation, video editing, and etc., I put so much dedication into this scenario. I want to give credit and recognize Nick Smith for also making this scenario, as I've seen it has been a great success. But I'd love to also touch on this subject if you all allow me to, and to convince you, as I promise to actually keep team salary caps, trade clauses, player contracts, and realism all into consideration. So everything you will see could have actually been valid. So without further ado, here it is for you guys. The way I've set up this video is, first, I will start at the very moment right before Derrick Rose injured himself in the 2012 playoffs, and we go on as if it never happened. He never got injured, and we will go year by year simulating until we're up to date. Derrick Rose, one of the fastest rising superstars, elevated year by year. He got injured in the fourth year of his career, but before he got injured, he managed to, in his first year, he was named Rookie of the Year. His sophomore year made his first All-Star team appearance at age 21, and his best year to this date, his third, won MVP, making him the youngest to ever do so at age 22. 2012 NBA playoffs, first round, game 1. Bulls were leading by 12 points, 1 minute and 20 seconds to go. The Chicago Bulls are the first seed, going up against the 8th seed 76ers. Bulls are trying to reach the ultimate goal and win a championship. But in the first round, they go up against a 76ers team that can't be underestimated. Derrick Rose averages 26 points a game and puts this series to rest in 6 games. Next up is the Big 3 in Boston. Rajon Rondo gets a triple-double in Game 6 to force a Game 7. Rose defends home court and scored 33 points to end the series. The Chicago Bulls meet Miami for the second year in a row in the Eastern Conference Finals. LeBron James, short of winning a championship last year, looks to try and overcome a tough Bulls team. Derrick Rose shows heart and forces a Game 6 on the verge of facing elimination with 1 game. Miami Heat win the series in Game 6 and are going to the finals to represent the East 3 years in a row. The Miami Heat knocks off Kevin Durant and the Oklahoma City Thunder in the finals, and LeBron celebrates his first championship ring. LeBron, winning the championship and his third MVP award the same year, makes some people debate on who the best player in the league is, James or Kobe Bryant. Derrick Rose and the Bulls fall short of a championship this year, but nevertheless, the team still has a young superstar at the age of 23 to lead this team for years to come. It's the 2012-2013 season, and originally, the Bulls went a whole season without playing Derrick Rose due to injury. The Chicago Bulls are feeling good to start the season. Many people debate whether Derrick Rose has enough help to get past the Miami Heat and win a championship. Joakim Noah misses some time this season, so Derrick Rose and Carlos Boozer still hold it down for Chicago very well. Bulls finished the season 50-32, making it the first time in 3 years that they don't get the first seed. They end up with the 4th seed in the East. The Chicago Bulls feel great having Noah back and a healthy team to compete for a championship. Derrick Rose has averaged 27 points and 8 assists a game this season and gets crowned MVP for the second time in his young career. Bulls face Paul George and the Indiana Pacers in the first round. The reigning 2-time MVP Derrick Rose is ready to get the playoffs going as he bursts into this one, averaging 32 points a game. The Bulls knock off the Pacers in 5 games and look to keep momentum going. Since the Bulls are the 4th seed, they're now going up against the 1st seed, the Big 3 in Miami. The Bulls haven't been able to beat Miami in the playoffs in this Derrick Rose era. This series went to 7 games. It was very close, but Miami took advantage of home court and took this series, making it 3 years in a row that they eliminate the Chicago Bulls. LeBron James doesn't even break a sweat as they take care of the Brooklyn Nets in the conference finals, and up next, the Los Angeles Lakers. Only this time, the Lakers never fire Mike Brown. Mike Brown doesn't try and implement different offenses, making defense a priority, and injuries didn't affect them making it to the finals. A final series that broke records, highlighting Kobe Bryant versus LeBron James. 2K simulated LeBron and the Miami Heat winning in 6 games. Dwight Howard was inconsistent in this series, and all the debate about who the best player is was silenced after the 3-time MVP LeBron James won his second ring and implemented his print all over this league. Kobe will always remain a 5-time champion, true legend, one of the greatest. Derrick Rose, a 2-time MVP, but no championship to show for it, has been living under the shadow of LeBron James. Could that change soon? It's summer 2013, and it's time for the NBA draft. If you know what the butterfly effect is, then you know it's taking effect here. Bulls don't get the 20th pick in Tony Snell. Instead, he goes to the 76ers. Bulls get Andre Roberson for the 26th pick. Noel went with the Magic. Victor Oladipo went to Detroit. Michael Carter-Williams joins New Orleans. Schroeder went to Utah. Cody Zeller went to Toronto. Trey Burke went to Sacramento. And CJ McCollum went with Charlotte. During free agency, Bulls let go of Taj Gibson and signed Paul Millsap to a 1-year, $10 million deal. It's now the start of the 2013-2014 season, and originally this was the year that Derrick Rose returned and only played 10 games due to injury reoccurring again. The Chicago Bulls are pleased to have Paul Millsap join the team and are feeling pretty good to start the season. As of right now, everyone is thinking the Bulls have no shot at the title and aren't making it a big deal that Paul Millsap has joined the team. They feel that the Chicago Bulls must prove they can beat LeBron and the Miami Heat in the playoffs before anyone can get excited about this team. Reigning 2-time MVP Derrick Rose is averaging 26 points a game, and Paul Millsap is finding his role being consistent. The Chicago Bulls finished the season with a 63-19 record and have the first seed in the East. Chicago enters the playoffs liking their chances this year. They feel a much more complete team, and we'll see how far they get. Kevin Durant has his greatest season as he wins the season MVP award. First round in the playoffs, the Bulls face a Cavalier team in which Kyrie has proven he can carry this young team. Derrick Rose hasn't lost in the first round since 2010 when the Cavaliers eliminated them in Derrick's sophomore year. Chicago is the most experienced team in this series and sweep the Cavs. Kyrie showed a lot as he proved he can lead the Cavs back to the playoffs since LeBron's departure to go play for Miami. In the conference semifinals, they go up against Carmelo Anthony. Like Carmelo, Derrick Rose is just as hungry for a ring, and both superstars battle it out in this one. This series goes all the way to 6 games as the Chicago Bulls made their presence known and they beat the Knicks 4-2 to move on. Next up, the heavily talked about matchup, the Miami Heat. Miami Heat looks beatable this year as D-Wade has shown some signs of slowing down and aging. Chicago played their hearts out in this series and beat the Heat, killing any hopes of Miami going for the three-peat. Derrick Rose gets past LeBron for the first time, and now the Bulls are the favorites coming to the finals. This is Derrick Rose and the Chicago Bulls' first final appearance since the 1997-1998 Bulls with Michael Jordan, who appeared and won the championship that year. Tim Duncan and the Spurs went through a tough West division to get here, and he is looking to deliver San Antonio their fifth championship. The Bulls are finally in the finals now. They have been through so much diversity, but here it is where they have to prove themselves the most. At the end of this series, it came down to who had the most experience as the San Antonio Spurs beat the Chicago Bulls 4-2 and captured their fifth title. This makes it the first time in franchise history that the Chicago Bulls have lost in the NBA Finals, making them 6-1. Tim Duncan joins Kobe Bryant and Derek Fisher as the only active players to have 5 or more championships in the league. LeBron seeks to test free agency and chase another ring to possibly try and win a third championship. As for Rose, he says this year has been a great experience for him, making it all the way to the finals, but why settle with that? He claims that he sees a championship coming for Chicago and the city stands behind their native hometown superstar all the way. It's now summer of 2014, and some notable changes I like to mention are Andrew Wiggins ends up getting picked by the 76ers. That means he doesn't end up in Minnesota, and Kevin Love doesn't get traded to Cleveland. Julius Randle goes to Milwaukee. Aaron Gordon goes to Phoenix. Zach LaVine goes to Washington. And Toronto gets Marcus Smart. LeBron returns to his homeland, and Cleveland also signs Paul Millsap for a 3-year, $50 million deal. Rumors had it that tensions flew into Chicago after the finals loss between the two stars in Chicago. Derrick Rose and Millsap denied that rumor. Chicago Bulls lost to Paul Millsap, but they signed former champion Paul Gasol and Aaron Brooks to play for the Bulls this summer. The 2014-2015 season originally was the season that we got to see Derrick Rose back in action in the playoffs. The Bulls feel like a different team to start the season. They feel better, younger, and now more experienced with the addition of Paul Gasol, who has won 2 championships with Kobe in that back-to-back Lakers run. Everyone is starting to build confidence in the Bulls. They finally got past LeBron and the Heat. But this year, they might not know what LeBron and the Cavaliers might be like. They look like a potential threat, but they can be. Derrick Rose is feeling good and is having a monster season, averaging 32 points a game. The Bulls are looking great. The mistakes they had last season are no longer a problem and are gone this season. Jimmy Butler is emerging as a star in this league and is giving a lot of good looks for this team. The Bulls are focused mentally in winning a championship this year. The All-Star Game hosted 3 of Chicago's stars, Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler, and Paul Gasol. Chicago ends up with a 63-19 record, and they finish behind the Cleveland Cavaliers in the East. Derrick Rose earns his 3rd MVP award and joins Magic, Malone, Bird, and LeBron, the other players that also stand or stood at 3 MVP awards. In the first round of the playoffs, the Bulls go up against Paul George and the Pacers. The Bulls are ready to start this playoff run, and they go up against a team they're really familiar with in the first round. Chicago sweeps the Indiana Pacers and move on to face the Atlanta Hawks in the next round. Kyle Korver, former Chicago Bull, is ready to face his former team here in the playoffs. The Bulls play great defense, and Jimmy Butler just shines in this series. Chicago cruises past the Hawks in a series sweep, and they are now 8-0 in the playoffs. It's the Bulls versus the Cleveland Cavaliers in the conference finals. The top 2 teams in the East battle it out. Chicago feels confident, and Paul Gasol has been a huge key factor out-rebounding the Cavs in this series. The Bulls end up winning this series. It didn't come down to who wanted it more. This series was a chess match. Instead, it came down to who had the most team chemistry and experience. The Bulls have been together longer and therefore knew how to capitalize and win together. The Bulls are once again in the finals, and this time they go up against the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry has been playing on fire and is widely recognized as the best shooter ever to play in the NBA. Even though the Bulls are not facing an experienced team in San Antonio, they know they can't underestimate any opponent. It was a hard-fought battle, very entertaining to watch as two of the best point guards in the league, Derrick Rose and Steph Curry, battle it out. In the end, Chicago had enough firepower to pull this one off and win their first championship in nearly 2 decades. Derrick Rose now has his first ring, and no doubt the three-time MVP is in the discussions as possibly the best point guard since Magic Johnson. It's now summer of 2015, and some notable changes this season are: the Lakers get the first overall pick this year and they select Karl Anthony Towns. 76ers get D'Angelo Russell. Jahlil Okafor goes to Milwaukee, and Willie Cauley-Stein goes to Orlando. The original 2015-2016 Bulls struggled to make it to the playoffs, mostly because of injuries affecting this team. The defending champions, however, are ready to try and defend their championship as they start the season. Right about now, the Bulls are perhaps the favorite team in the NBA, and no one is doubting them. Derrick Rose will fight to push his legacy, striving every day to be the best that he can be. The Bulls are pushing to try and have a breaking record season as they go on a 25-game winning streak. Jimmy Butler has emerged as arguably the best two guard in the league, and along with the best point guard, the Bulls are looking like a deadly team. The Bulls finished 68-14, earning the first seed in the East, while the Golden State Warriors actually finished one game better and short of their actual 73-9 record. Steph Curry emerges this season and gives the critics something to talk about when it comes to arguing who the best point guard in the league today is. Already before the playoffs, a huge Warriors vs Bulls rematch is widely expected. The playoffs have arrived, and once again the Bulls face a Pacers team in which Paul George is trying to carry a load on his own back. Chicago fully loaded and ready to win the championship again. The Bulls win this series 4-1 and look to face a long-time rival next, the Miami Heat, who has won 3 of the 4 last meetings in the playoffs against the Bulls. The Bulls have had their struggles against the Heat, but in this series they look a little different and somehow managed to come back from a 3-1 series in which they have been exposed. Chicago came back from a 3-1 series, and now they look to face the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals for a rematch. LeBron and the Cavaliers look like a different team this year and have improved a lot compared to last year. Chicago Bulls giving it their all in this series and try to look past the Cavaliers to face the much anticipated matchup against Golden State Warriors. Instead, LeBron shows up and Kyrie played outstanding, ending this series and eliminating the defending champions to face the Golden State Warriors. The reigning champs did not return to the finals this year. Derrick Rose, had he not torn his ACL, no doubt he would have changed the league dramatically. 2K may have simulated a championship, 2 finals appearances, and 3 MVP awards in Derrick Rose by the end of the 2016 season, still at 27 years of age. Would we still hear Steph Curry possibly surpassing Magic Johnson when it's all said and done? Would we still be seeing LeBron make 6 straight finals appearances? Would we still be hearing about how the Bulls is now Jared Butler's team? Would we still be hearing discussions about how the Bulls want to get rid of Derrick Rose and trade him to Sacramento? What if Derrick Rose never tore his ACL? They say he would have been the best point guard in the league today. Make no mistake, winning Rookie of the Year, being the youngest to win the MVP award, and being the most explosive, versatile point guard I've ever seen. It's a crying shame in the NBA Derrick Rose got injured. I sometimes wonder, what would it be of Derrick Rose had he not tore his ACL?
They said I will always be a legend in their minds. I guess that it's safe to say that I'm before my time. Won't stop till I reach perfection. I'll keep trying. Forever spread my wings. I'll keep flying.
There you have it, guys. Hope you all enjoyed this video. If you want more videos like this, make sure to like and comment on this video and subscribe for more weekly what if scenarios. Thank you, guys. See you all next time.
People screaming from the stands. After's golden royal blue, wearing number 23, averaging 32. I was gonna shoot a 3, but I prefer to take a 2. Take off from the dotted line and dunk on anything that moves. Only you don't